In the war on terrorism in Yemen, the U.S. government describes Yemen as an important partner in the global war on terrorism. Attacks against civilian targets. On December 30, 2002, a suspected Islamic fundamentalist killed 3 U.S. workers and wounded 1 in a hospital in Jibla, using a semi-automatic rifle. The suspect was arrested and identified as Abd Abdulrazak al-Kamal. Jews in Yemen reportedly fled their homes due to threats from Muslim extremists. A notable incident was the murder of Moshe Yayash al-Nahari of Rada in December 2008. Al-Qaeda members sent letters to 45 Jews living in Al-Salem, near Sana'a, on January 19, 2007, accusing them of involvement in an international Zionist conspiracy. The letters said that if the Jews did not abandon their homes in 10 days, they would be abducted and murdered and their homes would be looted. The Jewish community sent a complaint to President Abdullah Saleh and are temporarily staying in a hotel near Sana'a. The Yemeni government has promised that their homes will be protected and they may return to them. On September 17, 2008, Al-Qaeda militants attacked the U.S. Embassy in Sana'a. 20 people were killed, including 6 militants, 6 policemen and 7 civilians. 1 American was among those killed. Attacks on tourists. On July 2, 2007, a suicide bomber killed 8 Spanish tourists and their 2 Yemeni drivers in Marib. On January 18, 2008, Al-Qaeda militants opened fire on a convoy of tourists in Hadramaut, killing 2 Belgian tourists and 2 Yemenis, the tourists' driver and their guide. Attacks targeted South Korean tourists in March 2009. 4 Korean tourists alongside their local Yemeni guide were killed. 2 attackers also died. 2010 cargo plane bomb plot. On October 29, 2010, UK Prime Minister David Cameron said the device in a package sent from Yemen and found on a US-bound cargo plane was designed to go off on the aircraft. But Cameron said investigators could not yet be certain about when the device, intercepted at East Midlands Airport, was supposed to explode. A second device containing explosives was found on a cargo plane in Dubai. The U.S. suspected al-Qaeda involvement. In Yemen, police arrested but later released a woman suspected of posting the packages. President Ali Abdullah Saleh pledged that his country would continue fighting al-Qaeda in cooperation with its partners. But we do not want anyone to interfere in Yemeni affairs by hunting down al-Qaeda, he added, as heavily armed troops patrolled Sana'a. Yemeni authorities also closed down the local offices of the U.S. cargo firms United Parcel Service and FedEx, who had already suspended all shipments out of the country and pledged full cooperation with investigators. U.S. President Barack Obama's National Security Advisor, John Brennan, has phoned Saleh to offer U.S. help in fighting al-Qaeda, the White House said. The explosive devices, which triggered security alerts in the U.S., UK, and Middle East, were apparently both inserted in printer cartridges and placed in packages addressed to synagogues in the Chicago area. Pentaerythritol tetranurate, an explosive favored by the Yemeni-based militant group, Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, was discovered in both devices. Obama discussed the apparent terrorist plot with Cameron by phone, expressing his appreciation for the professionalism of American and British services involved in disrupting it. Later, Cameron told reporters at his country residence, Chequers, that it was believed the explosive device intercepted at East Midlands Airport was designed to go off on the aeroplane. We cannot be sure about when that was supposed to take place, he added. There is no early evidence that it was meant to take place over British soil, but of course we cannot rule it out. The Prime Minister said the authorities had immediately banned packages coming to or through the UK from Yemen, and would be looking extremely carefully at any further steps we have to take. UK Home Secretary Theresa May said the government did not believe the plotters would have known the location of the device when it was planned to explode. While details of the device found in Britain were not released, photographs emerged on the US media of an ink toner cartridge covered in white powder and connected to a circuit board. The British government's remarks suggest the authorities in both the UK and the US remain uncertain about the precise targets and, indeed, aim of this latest apparent plot. According to Dubai police, The explosives they found were also inside the toner cartridge of a printer, placed in a cardboard box containing English-language books and souvenirs. The cartridge contained PETN and plastic explosives mixed with lead acid, they said. Lead acid is an explosive commonly used in detonators. The device was prepared in a professional manner and equipped with an electrical circuit linked to a mobile telephone, SIM card concealed in the printer, the police said. For U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano, the plot bore all the hallmarks of al-Qaeda and in particular, AQAP. Unnamed U.S. officials quoted by the Associated Press said al-Qaeda's explosives expert in Yemen, Ibrahim Hassan al-Aziri, was the likely suspect behind the bomb-making. They said Aziri had helped make the bomb used in the failed Detroit Christmas Day bomb attack and another PETN device used in a failed suicide attack against a top Saudi counterterrorism official last year. The White House has said Saudi Arabia provided information that helped identify the threat, while the UK's Daily Telegraph reported that a MI6 officer responsible for Yemen had received a tip-off. Military police counter-terrorism operations. Following the September 11, 2001 attacks in the United States, President Ali Abdullah Saleh made an effort to eliminate the Islamist militant presence. By November 2002, Yemeni government troops detained 104 suspected al-Qaeda members. In December 2001, a search by government forces for 2 Yemeni believed to be senior al-Qaeda members hiding near Marib led to a gun battle with tribesmen which ended in the deaths of 34 people, including 18 soldiers. To defuse the situation, 10 Marib sheikhs were detained as hostages of the state in comfortable rooms in the presidential palace for 35 days, until 43 lesser tribesmen took their place. In the first months of 2002 the Bush administration approved sending about 100 Special Operations Forces to Yemen, a power base for al-Qaeda. In November 2002, 6 Yemenis suspected of being members of al-Qaeda were blown up in their car in the province of Marib by a Hellfire missile attack from an unmanned CIA RQ-1 Predator aircraft. Among the dead was Abu Ali al-Harithi. In 2004, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation's International Affairs Programme foreign correspondent investigated this targeted killing and the involvement of then U.S. ambassador as part of a special report titled The Yemen Option. The report also examined the evolving tactics and countermeasures in dealing with al-Qaeda-inspired attacks. In December 2002, Spanish troops boarded and detained a ship, at the request of the United States, that was transporting Scud missiles from North Korea to Yemen. After 2 days, when the United States determined it had no right under international law to continue to detain the shipment, they let it continue on to Yemen. On July 30, 2009, 3 soldiers were killed in a clash with al-Qaeda militants in Marib province. A raid on an alleged al-Qaeda camp on December 17, 2009, led to the deaths of 46 civilians, 14 of which were female and 21 were children. ABC News reported that U.S. cruise missiles were part of the bombardment of the camps, which targeted Abu Huraira Qasem Elmi. A local official and a tribal source claimed that 49 civilians, including 23 women and 17 children, were among those killed in the strike. The same day a clash between security forces and al-Qaeda members in Apur left 4 militants dead. An air raid targeted an al-Qaeda meeting in Wadi Rafad in Shabwa province on December 24, 2009. Another 34 al-Qaeda militants were killed in the attack. Among the dead were also Saudis and Iranians, according to the security forces. The number of al-Qaeda members arrested in the previous week rose to 29. U.S. air attacks. The U.S. first said it used targeted killing in November 2002, with the cooperation and approval of the government of Yemen. A CIA-controlled Predator drone fired a Hellfire missile at an SUV in the Yemeni desert containing Qud Salim Shinan al-Harithi, a Yemeni suspected senior al-Qaeda lieutenant believed to have been the mastermind behind the October 2000 USS Cole bombing that killed 17 Americans. He was on a list of targets whose capture or death had been called for by U.S. President George W. Bush. In addition to al-Harithi, 5 other occupants of the SUV were killed, all of whom were suspected al-Qaeda terrorists, and one of whom was an American. 3. On December 17, 2009, the village of Al-Marjala was hit by a cruise missile, killing 41 people, including 14 women, 21 children, and 14 alleged al-Qaeda members. While the Yemeni government initially took responsibility, photographs of American components and a WikiLeaks cable suggest that it was carried out by the United States. In May 2010, an errant U.S. drone attack targeting al-Qaeda terrorists in Wadi Abada, Yemen, killed 5 people, among them Jabbar al-Shabwani, deputy governor of Marib province who was mediating between the government and the militants. The killing so angered Shabwani's tribesmen that in the subsequent weeks they fought heavily with government security forces, twice attacking a major oil pipeline in Marib. On May 5, 2011, a missile fired from a U.S. drone killed Abdullah and Mossad Mubarak, brothers who may have been militants. The missile was fired on their car and both died instantly. The strike was aimed at killing Anwar al-Awlaki, but al-Awlaki appears to have survived. On June 3, 2011, American manned jets or drones attacked and killed Abu Ali al-Harithi, a mid-level al-Qaeda operative, and several other militant suspects, including Ammar Abad al-Nasser al-Walai, in a strike in southern Yemen. 4 civilians were also reportedly killed in the strike. The strike was reportedly coordinated by American Special Forces and CIA operatives based in Sana'a. According to the Associated Press, in 2011 the U.S. government began building an airbase near or in Yemen from which the CIA and U.S. military plans to operate drones over Yemen. The Washington Post reported that the U.S. previously used a base in Djibouti to operate drones over Yemen. The Wall Street Journal reports that a U.S. drone base in the Seychelles could be used to operate drones over Yemen. According to local residents and unnamed American and Yemeni government officials, on July 14, 2011 U.S. manned aircraft or drones attacked and destroyed a police station in Mudiar in Ebyan province which had been occupied by al-Qaeda militants. Yemeni media and government gave conflicting accounts on the number of casualties, estimated at between 6 and 50 killed. The same day and nearby, drone missiles reportedly hit a car belonging to Yemeni al-Qaeda leader Fahd al-Quzo, but al-Quzo survived the attack. On August 1, 2011, U.S. drones and reportedly Yemeni aircraft attacked 3 targets with bombs and missiles in South Yemen, killing 15 suspected al-Qaeda militants and wounding 17 others. The locations targeted included al-Warda, al-Ahmadiyya, and al-Kamala in Ebyan province. One of those killed was reportedly militant leader Nasser al-Shadadi. According to the Yemen Post, at least 35 U.S. drone attacks were reported in Yemen over the last 2 months. On August 24, 2011, unidentified aircraft attacked suspected al-Qaeda militants near Zinjibur. The strikes reportedly killed 30 militants and wounded 40 others. According to Yemeni officials as reported in the Long War Journal, U.S. airstrikes in southeast Ebyan province on August 30 to September 1, 2011 killed 30 AQAP militants. The militants were reportedly engaged in combat with Yemeni military forces. 2 airstrikes by U.S.-operated aircraft on September 21, 2011 reportedly killed 4 AQAP fighters in Ebyan and 7 AQAP fighters in SHAQRA. On September 30, 2011, U.S. drone-launched missiles killed 4 people, including al-Qaeda propagandist Anwar al-Awlaki, in al-Jawf Governorate. The strike also killed Samir Khan, American-born editor of Inspire magazine. The strike marked the first known time that the U.S. had deliberately targeted U.S. citizens in a drone attack. A reported drone strike in Zinjibur on October 5, 2011 killed 5 AQAP militants. According to Yemeni government officials, a U.S. airstrike on October 14, 2011 killed 7 AQAP militants, including Egyptian-born Ibrahim al-Bana, AQAP's media chief. A drone strike on December 22, 2011 near Zinjibur reportedly killed Abdulrahman al-Wuhayshi, a relative of Yemeni al-Qaeda leader Nasir al-Wuhayshi. A further 8 militants were reported killed in an airstrike near Jaya on December 17, 2011. An airstrike, reportedly performed by U.S. aircraft, on January 31, 2012 near the city of Lauda in Ebyan province, killed 11 AQAP militants. The dead reportedly included Abdul Monem El-Fatani, a participant in the USS Cole bombing. Drones engaged in 3 attacks over 3 days from March 11, 2012. The first strike targeted an AQAP hideout near Al-Baida, Baida province, reportedly killing local AQAP leader Abdul Wahab al-Homaykni and 16 of his militants. The second strike hit Jaya in Ebyan province, reportedly killing 20 AQAP fighters. The third strike, also in Jaya, reportedly killed 3 AQAP militants and targeted a storage location for weapons AQAP had seized after overrunning a Yemeni military base in Al-Qaud the week before. A fourth drone strike on March 14, 2012 in Al-Bida reportedly killed 4 AQAP militants in a vehicle. On April 11, 14 militants were killed in a drone strike in Lauda town, northeast of Sinjaba, Ebyan province. A drone strike on April 22 in the Al-Samadar area, near the border of Marib and Al-Jawf provinces, killed AQAP senior leader Mohammed Saeed al-Umda. On May 6, 2012 a suspected U.S. drone strike killed Fard Mohammed Ahmed al-Quzo and another al-Qaeda militant in southern Shabwa province. On December 12, 2013, 17 people were killed in a wedding convoy in the district of Rada which falls in the governorate of Al-Baida. The U.S. drone mistakenly targeted a wedding convoy after intelligence reports identified the vehicles as carrying suspects of the AQAP organization. 5 of the killed had been suspected, but the remainder were civilians. On March 3, 2014 an airstrike, believed to have been carried out by an American drone, killed 3 people suspected of being members of AQAP. Mujahid Gabbar Sali al-Shabwani, who is one of Yemen's 25 most wanted AQAP operatives, is thought to have been killed in the strike. On 20 and 21 April 2014, 3 drone strikes by the U.S. government killed at least 24 suspected AQAP members and destroyed one of the group's training camps in southern Yemen, according to a statement released by the Yemeni Interior Ministry. In a statement, the group admitted that 5 civilians had been wounded and 3 killed during the attack. On June 13, 2014 a suspected U.S. drone strike targeted a car in the Mafraq al-Said area of the Shabwa province, killing 5 alleged AQAP operatives on board. It is estimated that a total of 98 U.S. drone attacks have been conducted in Yemen between 2002 and 2015. 41 in 2012. 26 in 2013 and 14 in 2014. See also. References